Hey fans, what's up? It's Gamer Guide here. Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about Sonic IDW Comics. Now I know it's been a while since I've talked about the IDW Sonic characters, but this time I want to discuss an interesting topic. Ever since I saw Game Apologist video, he's been doing his little Sonic speed reading of the IDW Comics, and I definitely wanted to talk about how the IDW Comics destroyed the Sonic characters. Yeah, now don't get me wrong, when I say destroy, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. Kind of like how one YouTuber I watched made a video about how Marvel or how Taika Waititi destroyed Thor as a character from Ragnarok and Infinity War, made him a great character in Ragnarok, Yeah, so when I say destroy, I mean deconstruction, basically a synonym. So I'm going to talk about how the IDW Comics deconstructed the Sonic characters. Now I'm talking about the main characters, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and I think this is one of the reasons why the IDW comics are so fun and compelling to read, because they really dive into the characters and their psyche sometimes. So let's start out with Sonic. Now, as we all know how Sonic is, he's cocky, wisecracking, he's adventurous, has a sense of justice, loves to save people, all that stuff. So in the beginning of the IDW comics, Sonic starts out as very cocky throughout the first saga, especially the first arc, and I remember that was some of the criticisms critics gave him from the first Fallout arc, that he was very just carefree and cocky and didn't care about much that was happening around him. And I was like, okay, this is how Sonic usually is. So I don't know how that was a problem. I guess because a lot of them were Archie Comics readers, but this was just the beginning, so they weren't going to get into the whole emotional aspect yet. By the second saga, the Metal Virus saga, Sonic starts to pay the consequences for his actions. So for instance, a lot of the things he does and the choices he makes in the first saga leads to the second saga. Like for instance, when he decides to let Metal Sonic live and let him free. Because of that, Metal Sonic meets Mr. Tinker. That's the main reason why Mr. Tinker transforms back into Dr. Eggman and gets his memories back. Because, as you know, Dr. Starline and Rough and Tumble tried to restore his memory, but it doesn't work until he sees Metal Sonic. Then that's when all of his memories come back. So if Metal Sonic was destroyed or imprisoned, that would have never happened. Now I know Ian Flynn says that eventually Mr. Tinker would have gotten his memories back. At least it wouldn't have been all of a sudden, A lot of the characters correct Sonic a lot and criticize him throughout these series, like Shadow, when he tells Sonic that you should have listened to me and got rid of Eggman when you had the chance, or send him to prison. And even Espio reminds Sonic about that too, saying that, look, we had the chance to lock him up, but you decided to let him free because he was innocent and turned over new leaf, and now look. So it even goes back to that. So Sonic feels very guilty for this throughout the Metal Virus saga, and the reason why he's infected and has to continue running to, keep the virus from fully infecting him. So he feels very guilty, and he gets depressed at sometimes, doubtful, and I really like that character exploration is breaking down his character. And I hope by the end of this saga that Sonic starts to realize that sometimes there are some villains that shouldn't be kept alive. There are some villains that just need to die, need to go. At least that's something I would love to explore in Sonic Rebound in the future if I ever get to the Metal Virus saga, hopefully. I want him to realize that with Metal Sonic and Deadly Six. Obviously, he's never going to kill Dr. Eggman. I mean, you need him for the series. But things like Zavok and the Deadly Six, there's no reason for Sonic to keep them alive, because Zavok will never change. He is the Deadly Six. He is evil incarnate. He will never change. He will never work with the good guys every once in a while like Dr. Starline or Eggman will, or even Metal Sonic, because Metal Sonic listens to Eggman. No, Zavok just lives for chaos. He's a sadist. All the Deadly Six creatures are the Zeti. So I hope Sonic realized that you cannot give Zavok another chance. He has to be destroyed. And then there's Tails. Let's talk about Tails. Now, first and foremost, Ian Flynn fixed his character in the very beginning of the first issue, because Tails was a pussy. He was a pussy in Sonic Forces. I hated his character in Sonic Forces. There's even some rumors going on that Aaron Weber corrected Sega in the beta scripts or whatever, saying that this is not how Tails is supposed to act. I doubt he did those things. I doubt Aaron Weber ever wrote that, because it came off as a little unprofessional, but that's besides the point. So Tails is you know, back to the way he was before. You know, he helps out Sonic a lot and is very useful. But I like how in the Metal Virus saga, they start deconstructing that character. He starts experiencing more failures, you know, like he tries to fix the Metal Virus twice and it doesn't work the first time. Then he makes something that depends on Sonic's speed, a possible cure, but then it breaks and he loses all its information and he has to self-destruct his tornado plane. So like that's the first biggest L Tails experiences in the comics. Big failure. Had that plan worked, they would have cured the Metal Virus. It would have been over by now, you know? So yeah. And now Tails is having to work with Dr. Eggman using Dr. Starline's ingenuity, you know, the warp topaz, making all those portals. He's no longer the Deus Ex Machina he sometimes is. Let's be honest. In the previous games, sometimes he's always the one that's saving Sonic's ass. So and Sonic relies on him a bit too much. But in this case, you know, he's failing a lot and he's not that much of a help anymore. So that's kind of interesting to see that. And at the same time, he's still not a pussy. He's still not a wimp or, you know, having a lack of confidence or anything. Now Knuckles, I think Knuckles one is even more captivating. You know, he starts off as a commander of the Resistance from the last game Forces. I actually liked how they made him the commander of the Resistance army. But by IDW Comics, he starts to get tired of it because, you know, he's more of a fighter and the Eggman War is over. So he's like, Amy's more of a leader and commander. I just want to go back to Angel Island and treasure hunt and stuff. And, you know, later he does pay the price for leaving Angel Island for that long because Angel Island is literally in jeopardy and danger. So in a way he has to go back to his roots, which is guarding the Master Emerald. You know, it's kind of funny and ironic by making him a more assertive character, not gullible and dumb and stuff, making him more useful to Sonic and his friends. At the same time, by doing that, they neglected Knuckles for who he is, who he was, you know, which is the guardian of the Master Emerald. And that's why he's not in majority of the Metal Virus until now that they went back to Angel Island. That's kind of a double-edged sword for me because it's like, I love Knuckles. I don't always want him to be cooped up on Angel Island, but, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of like Blaze being the guardian of the Soul Emeralds in her Soul Dimension. You know, some of these characters just have to be where they belong. And it's not like we'll never see them again, you know? So what do you guys think about all this, the deconstruction of all these characters? I really love it, and I hope to see more of this in the future of the comics. I really like it. The writing is really what saves the IDW comics more than anything. And it's not just the writing. It stays very close to the game canon, and it expands on that instead of creating all these dumb, made-up storylines and plots and stuff. But I'll talk about that for another day. Alright guys, remember to smash the like button, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, stay tuned for my next video. And also stay tuned for Sonic Rebound, episode 3 and 4 will be coming out soon. They'll be coming almost back to back. They'll be very close in proximity of their release. So please just be patient. We're working hard on that. Alright guys, take care, and until next time, keep it based. I'm out.